This is the Chad Factor. It's been a long time since I've been with you today. Let me just adjust this camera a little bit so you can see me fully. And I'm here to talk about, I'm going to talk about a couple things. I'm going to talk about the hypocrisy of the left, the NFL with Roseanne Barr, and I'm going to try to conflate all of these things together. Now, if you don't know what's going on, Roseanne Barr got fired for saying that, I forgot her name, but one of Obama's White House correspondents compared her to someone of the Planet of the Apes and the Muslim Brotherhood. And Roseanne Barr has lost her show, got kicked out of her talent network, and now all the people that were on her show don't have jobs. So I will say this and say this only. I am mad at the hypocrisy, but I am not mad at them firing because, like I said, I believe that a private company has the right to fire those who they deem that will lose them money, and it is their choice in the matter. I just want them to do it throughout the time and do it at all convenient things, because she apologized and still lost her job. But as I'm going to get in more situations to where other people have said things and haven't lost their job. Okay? So I'm going to go into this. But I don't feel sorry for Roseanne Barr. Okay? ABC is a very liberal, regressive network, very leftist. You support Jill Stein and you supported Trump. You have to have known that, and plus Wanda Sykes is paying you. You have to have known that if you would have said this, you would have lost your job. Okay? So it's your responsibility to know that and watch what you say and be smart about it. But since you think you can say whatever you want because you've been saying dirty things all your life, that's why you lost your job, because you don't think. But I digress about that. So I don't feel sorry for it, but I'm going to get to the NFL in a minute. Okay? But let's talk about this. Okay, so do y'all remember when Bill Maher said the N-word? Okay? Let's look at something. And let me see if you can hear the clip. All right. Give me a second. All right, hold on for a minute. All right, let me see if I got the clip.
Right now, get 2 of these delicious McDonald's breakfast sandwiches for just $4. Mix and match the Bacon, Egg, and Cheese McGriddles, Sausage McMuffin with Egg, or Bacon, Egg, and Cheese Biscuit. A deal that will make your morning routine a little better. Breakfast at McDonald's.
For Complex News, I'm Hanuman Welch. During a Friday night interview with Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse on Real Time with Bill Maher, Maher lit up social media after dropping a way too casual N-bomb on HBO. Sasse invited Maher to his home state to work in the fields with us. Maher answered with, you just watch it. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, watch.
To Nebraska more. You're welcome. We'd love to have you work in the fields with us. Work in the fields? That's part of that. That's Senator. I'm a house nigga. No,
See, said the N-word right on tape. Just said the N-word. And then Ice Cube and Sarah Sanders all went to his show and talked about white privilege and why you shouldn't use it. Okay? And if you look back at the TMZ interview before she was on there, she was saying, I'm going to hold him accountable, I'm going to do this. But when you look at the show, she's just talking about white privilege and not holding him accountable and just saying a few words, but she was basically kissing up to him mostly. Okay? This is a double standard, and I'm not done yet. Some years ago, Okay? Sandra Bernhardt issues a gang rape warning to Sarah Palin. Sandra Bernhardt issued a blistering warning to Sarah Palin during, and this was in 2008, during a performance of her new one-woman show. The Republican VIP known will be gang raped. This is her warning that the Republican VIP will be gang raped by my big black brothers if she enters Manhattan. Bernhardt said. Palin is said to be making a campaign stop in New York next week. The gang rape comment was probably much longer and narrated and yes, provocative. That's what I do. Piece for my show about racism, freedom, women's rights, and the extreme views of Governor Sarah Palin. Which she wasn't that extreme. She wasn't crazy. I didn't like her, but she wasn't that crazy. A woman who doesn't believe that other women should have the right to choose and this is over abortion. So if you know the history of the South, of how many people believe black men were these big brutes and sexual deviants. Not saying there are not some black men who are. There's been of all different races who are, even a lot of black men. But if you know the stereotype, why is it not racial or racist for this woman to say, I'm going to get these big black men to rape you, and say it about a Republican? Okay? That's why I'm mad that all these left, Bill Maher, her, and another one I'm about to show you, that say crazy things and do not get any punishment. They just apologize and move on. That's it. Bill Maher hasn't lost his job. This woman hasn't lost her job. And I'm about to show you another one. Let me see if it's a clip on here. All right, let me see here. Now, she did apologize, but that's my point. She can apologize, but okay, still, like, come on. She didn't lose her job or anything. Let's see if I got this.
After decades of ignoring the issue, Americans are finally paying attention. Well, most of us. Ivanka Trump, who works at the White House, chose to post the second most oblivious tweet we've seen this week. You know, Ivanka, that's a beautiful photo of you and your child, but let me just say, one mother to another, do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless cunt. He listens to you. Put on something tight and low cut and tell your father to fucking stop it. Tell him it was an Obama thing and see how it goes, okay?
But like I said, I don't think anybody should be fired. But if you're going to fire somebody for crazy comments, why aren't you firing all these people I just seen that have made these crazy comments? I don't think anybody should be fired if they just make crazy enough comments. If they're losing a lot of money in a span of time, sure, you can fire them. It's your choice. But if you're going to fire Roseanne, get rid of Bill Maher, Samantha Appleby, and other people. Jemele Hill called Donald Trump a white supremacist. Okay? Called him a white supremacist and talked about boycotting the NFL. And she is a sports analyst. If she was a man, she would be fired if this happened. It's a double standard in America that you can talk about the right as much as you can, but if the left says something or you talk about them, they'll come after you. That's why you don't give an apology or a sorry to them, because they'll take it. They'll take it and run with it. Now, the NFL, as I've said, I agree with the NFL's players' right to voice their opinions against police brutality. Other people might view it as disrespectful to the flag, but I agree with free speech beyond it. At the same time, there is a communist element to it and a F America element to it as well that says America is the worst place for black people and minority, and that America is the worst place for black people. Yes, we've had Jim Crow segregation, and racism. But if we look at the history of businesses, markets, and families, black families, we've had a good history here despite the racism and segregation and lynchings during this time. But people will say America was never great and it's still not great for black people, but they're moving here. My point in this saying is there is a communist element to that NFL protest, but they still have a right to do it. So I understand why people disagree with the protest, but it is still free speech. You have to understand where they're coming from and understand where people who disagree with the anthem protest is coming from. But they have a right to do it, and you can't stop them. On a note about the NFL taxing, giving fines, they're doing it because they're losing money. Because the people who watch football are using their free market capitalism to not support the NFL and thus burning their jerseys, getting rid of their tickets, and not going to the games. It works both ways. Free market capitalism, free speech. You can protest, but people don't have a right to watch it. I say all this to say is the NFL fining people is a dumb decision, but they put themselves in that drought by just letting them protest and not thinking about how other people felt. And now the NFL is fining people and not thinking about how the people who are protesting, how they feel. So you have to basically say, hey, listen, you can protest, but you can protest in the locker room or protest somewhere else. You can still do it, but not on the field. Okay? But since they did this, now they're in a situation to where people don't like them. People don't want to have anything to do with them. People say they're racist. The Jets already said they were going to pay their fines, pay the NFL's players fines. So I'm not watching the NFL anymore, not because of the fines, but it's just too wishy-washy. The owner supported them, supported the players kneeling when Donald Trump said a son of a bitch. Call Kaepernick a son of a bitch. All right? That's what they did. Not because they're losing money, now they want to fine people. Which, again, as a businessman, I'm good with, I understand that. But you have to be consistent with your message. You have to be consistent with what you're saying when you do these things. And I'm saying Roseanne and all these people have a right to free speech. But the company has a right to fire you if they deem you too vulgar or deem you to be inappropriate or losing money in their market. But my thing is, while you got rid of Roseanne and the entire cast on her show and just canceled her show, why does Bill Maher still have a show if you believe in that same thing? Samantha Appleby, the girl I just showed you that talked about Sarah Palin. Why are you letting all these people do this? But that's my reasoning for this. I'm not watching the NFL anymore. I'm not watching certain programs anymore because you don't respect it on both sides. I don't even think any of them should get fired unless in the long run they lose money, then do it. But if they're not losing money, okay, keep going. You're losing a couple sponsors, okay. But if you're losing millions of dollars, yes. But a couple thousand or hundreds of thousands, you can live with that. That's my point of doing this. That's my point of saying this. Okay? I don't support any of them. I support all their right to say what they want to say because I am an absolutist in what they want to say. If it's not death threats or death with free speech. But you have to be consistent on what you want to do because them getting fired is not an issue of free speech. It's an issue of you're under their contract. These are liberals and they can do whatever they want to. But you have to be smart, like Roseanne Barr, with how you say or view things. Because they will fire you at any moment. So my thing is, Roseanne does deserve to be fired. You know, she was stupid for making that comment. But you have to be consistent on all fronts, or you will be a hypocrite. And that's my video for the day. I showed you the clips. I said my piece, and now I'm about to go. Everybody have a great day.